question. How many of you guys knew that the Democrats decided to just slide $72 billion under the table to the IRS? Second, how many of you guys knew that they were using that to expand the IRS by 87,000 agents? Yo, what up, y'all? It's your boy Rob coming back at you once again with another video. So before we get started, you already know what to do. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the bell icon twice. Smash the like button, share this video out to all of your followers, and let's get it cracking. All right. So what we got today is an article from the Daily Mail. All right. And what the Daily Mail is talking about is the Democrats and the Republicans' most recent scam. OK, so you have the Republicans coming out acting like the good all-American heroes, and we're going to save the American people. And what we're going to do is we're going to abolish the IRS and then replace them with our own IRS. And on the other side of the table, you got the Democrats saying, well, we're going to give all of this money that we keep saying that we don't have to the IRS in order for them to continue taxing the crap out of working class people, which, despite the fact that most of America is so doggone stupid, they only think that one race of people works. Numerically, there is a larger middle class than just that particular race of people that these nonsensical articles are talking about when they dog whistle and say, quote unquote, working class people. You know, when they talk about us, they're talking about lower class and quote unquote welfare class, despite the fact that the class of people that they say is working class are the majority of the welfare recipients. But that's neither here nor there. So let's get into these American political scams and see exactly what they're talking about. What it says here is House Republicans will now vote on abolishing the IRS. Don't get too excited, and replacing it with a national income tax, which is a consumption tax, after voting to strip the Biden agency back $72 billion in funds for 87,000 new staff members. $72 billion. Here's my question. When is the Democrat media, as well as the Democrat politicians, going to be held to the fire and be accountable for telling certain people that they don't have any money to back any of their political interests, but they literally make it rain on every department, every other nation, race, creed, and gender of people? When is that going to happen? I find it fascinating that the United States is just on board with the politicians and the political parties just lying to maintain a card house that's falling down, but whatever. Georgia Republican Representative Buddy Carter will bring forth the Fair Tax Act that he says would remove the need for an IRS entirely by quote unquote simplifying the tax code. Well, the tax code, Buddy seems like he's going to make it very simple. You know, it's going to be I'm blank and I say so. You know what I'm saying? It would replace the national corporate and personnel tax and other taxes with a single quote unquote consumption tax, which there's actually a link to this proposed bill. And what's fascinating is that through the entire link that's posted on the Congress website for House resolutions, it doesn't show any kind of taxation table, and it doesn't show any kind of calculation formulas. So how this would work, it literally is some I'm blank and I say so. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says the bill comes on the heels of a vote Monday night to claw back $72 billion, some $80 billion in additional funding Democrats gave to the IRS. So now, again, my thing is that when people see these kind of articles, the thing that people need to start doing, especially going into 2024, is start asking, well, we asked for this particular amount of money and you gave it here. What's your explanation? What's your explanation? What's your explanation? And I guarantee you that CNN, MSNBC, ABC, all these Democrat media, the Breakfast Club, they will all deflect. All right. They will all deflect. And then you'll have somebody like Charlemagne the God try to act like controlled opposition and act as if he's outraged about it while he's sitting up there on one of the largest radio platforms trying to hypnotize people into living life on repeat and continuing to vote for the Democrats for no reason. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says the Republican-led House will vote on a bill to repeal the federal income tax and abolish the IRS altogether, says this Congress. So now what I'm curious about is, how do you all think people will receive this if this actually happens? If the IRS is just gone suddenly one day, how would that work? You know what I think? I think that the majority of the population is so not intelligent that most people think that they need to pay taxes to get a tax refund because they think that that lump sum of money is some positive net bonus that they'll be getting, not realizing that they're paying a ton of money to get back a fraction of the money. If you guys agree with that, give me a thumbs up. If you disagree, by all means, please leave your disagreement in the comment section. Georgia Republican Representative Buddy Carter will bring forth the Fair Tax Act that he says would remove the need for an IRS entirely by simplifying the tax code. It will replace the national corporate and personal income tax and other taxes with a single consumption tax. And again, the reason why I read that paragraph twice is because we need to know how this consumption tax works. Sorry, buddy, I don't trust you. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says the bill also gets rid of the death, gift, and payroll taxes. So imagine that, a death taxes. You have to pay to die in the United States. You know what I'm saying? And these are the very people who say this is the best system ever. Are you serious? Either to go to the pearly gates or either to go to the flames of hell, if you believe in that kind of thing, you still got to pay taxes. Shout out to the United States, you know what I'm saying? For money being the root through the pearly gates or the root of all evil. You know what I'm saying? While saying in God we trust, alleged God on the money. In further calls for repealing the 16th Amendment, which gives Congress the right to lay and collect taxes on incomes. A vote on the bill, which has 30 co-sponsors, was promised as part of a deal to get Kevin McCarthy the Speaker's gavel last week. It is not yet clear when the legislation will come to the House floor, but it is unlikely to become law. So now here's my question for everybody reading it or everybody watching this. And if you guys are watching this, make sure you take a moment and leave a comment. How would this change things if this became law? And by the way, look at your girl Marjorie Taylor Greene back there. Shout out to her playing the chronic through her head. You know what I'm saying? Because she's upset that she can't use it in her social media posts anymore. Proponents of a consumption tax argue that the system allows Americans to choose how much they pay in taxes by choosing how much they spend, thus incentivizing saving and investing. The bill comes on. Now, this is interesting, right? So the consumption tax says that the system allows Americans to choose how much they pay in taxes by choosing how much they spend, thus incentivizing savings and investment. So all you have to do is change how you spend or change if it looks like you're spending or not. So basically, like, what you could just do is, I don't know, transfer your money somehow using an accountant to somebody who's like a minor, like one of your children or something like that, and have them do most of the majority of your spending and then kind of cheat on your taxes like that, which is something that they do now because it's all mathematical and it's all very easy to manipulate. But again, I don't really see the difference, except for the fact that this is just Republican controlled and what we have right now is Democrat controlled, and it's all still extortion because I don't want to pay taxes and, you know, pay taxes to fund, you know, people that walk around in blue uniforms and kill people that look like me, or, you know, I don't want to send money to anti-black militias in Ukraine to help them fight Vladimir Putin. That's not where I want my tax dollars going. You know what I'm saying? As a matter of fact, I want tax dollars to be used like WIC. Here's the tax money that you pay, and these things here on this card are what you can use my tax dollars for. And if you don't use my tax dollars for what's on that card, then that kicks back into my refund. I like my tax plan better than the low IQ Republican or liberal tax plan. You know what I'm saying? But again, that's just me. The bill comes on the heels of a vote Monday night to claw back $72 billion of some $80 billion, mind you, that the Democrats claim that they don't have, funding Democrats gave to the IRS last Congress, much of which is slated to hire 87,000 new IRS agents. Now, let's dissect this. First and foremost, question: how many of you guys knew that the Democrats decided to just slide $72 billion under the table to the IRS? Second, how many of you guys knew that they were using that to expand the IRS by 87,000 new agents? The IRS fiscal year 2022 budget request was a mere $13 billion. So as many times as we ask, right? As many times as we ask for money, they say that they don't have any. The IRS only asked for $13 billion. They only asked for $13 billion. And sleepy Joe Biden, who leaves federal documents outside of his Corvette, says, we'll give you $72 billion instead of $13 billion. And that wasn't a slip of a pen. You know what I'm saying? Like how Joe Biden has a slip of bowel movements in his pants while he's doing televised interviews. You know what I'm saying? This was something that was done on purpose. Neither bill is likely to find much traction in the Senate, where Democrats currently lead with a 51-48 majority. House Democrats are not taking the bill seriously. It's laughable, Representative Rosa DeLauro told reporters on Tuesday. Asked about DeLauro's comment, Carter told Daily Mail, our current tax system is a laughingstock, and the IRS is the butt of the joke. The only people with something to gain from maintaining a behemoth IRS are the bureaucracy-loving Washington Democrats who want armed, unelected agents to have more control over your paycheck than you do, all right? And, there may be a little bit of truth to that. So now here, it says the new audits were to offset some $739 billion in mostly climate and social spending in the Inflation Reduction Act. All right. So again, $739 billion. That's how much money that Joe Biden and the Democrats gave to other causes other than their quote unquote most loyal voter base. All right. The Congressional Budget Office estimated the GOP approved bill would add around $114 billion to the deficit. So keep track of all of this spending, right? All of this spending that goes down is, if you add it all together, it's only a fraction of the cost of what reparations would cause. And there's more outrage about reparations than there is about this kind of thing. And the reason why there's more outrage about reparations than there is of this kind of thing is because non-black people, as well as black immigrants, want to come here and benefit from the bottom class, which is where all the money is mined from in the United States capitalist pyramid. Okay. If the bottom class is allowed to elevate, which it shouldn't be allowed, because if the bottom class is locked into the bottom class, there should be mutiny. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of people want to play by the rules, so we'll have to say the word allowed. You know what I'm saying? If people want to be allowed to elevate, then that means that the black bottom class of the United States will no longer be a free meal ticket for all financial leeches that attempt to come over and make money, as well as the existing class of leeches who's already built the United States off of the backs of free labor. So if we're able to have upward mobility in that class structure, it takes away everybody's meal ticket. It takes away the meal ticket of the legal system. It takes away the meal ticket of the healthcare system. It takes away the meal ticket of the transportation system. It takes away the meal ticket from immigrants who want to come to the hood and set up businesses and take all of the money into the suburbs where they live. It's going to destroy that entire financial pyramid scheme that they have. And that only is the only reason why anybody is opposed to reparations. It's not because I never owned a slave today. It's not because my dad and my mom never owned any slaves. Because again, when it comes to reparations is not only about slavery, because as much as people like to say, oh, the evil white people, you did a lot of stuff. And when you do a lot of stuff, you do a lot of time. Look at all the stuff that R. Kelly did. He's doing a lot of time. Know how you guys like to use those examples? So when you do a lot of stuff, there's a lot of restitution that comes into play. So at some point, ultimately, you just have to deal with it, okay? And dealing with it would be reparations. But if reparations came, then what's going to end up happening is it's going to take away the bottom class meal ticket for these people. And that right there is what has everybody outraged. And that right there is when they dog whistle about threats to democracy for immigrants and all non-black people who are from the United States. That right there is exactly what they're talking about. They consider our prosperity a threat to their democracy because it shatters the entire American dream. You have to have a designated bottom class of people in order for the United States financial system to flow smoothly, okay? So now here it says, this transforms the U.S. tax code from a mandatory, progressive, and convoluted system to a fully transparent and unbiased system, which does away with the IRS as we know it. It's good for our economy because it encourages work, savings, and investment, said Representative Bob Good, a co-sponsor of the legislation, in a statement. Filing taxes in the U.S. is far more costly and time-consuming than in other advanced economies. Americans spend 2.6 billion hours and $209 billion per year doing so, according to a 2022 estimate from the American Action Forum. David Williams of the Taxpayer Protection Alliance chided Democrats for laughing at the proposal and said an IRS overhaul is long overdue. Now, if you guys agree that an IRS overhaul is long overdue, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. Being audited by the IRS is no joke. Complying with the massive tax code is nothing to smile at, he told Daily Mail. He said of the consumption tax idea, a consumption tax is very appealing because it simplifies the system and allows individuals and businesses more time and money to do what they want, whether that be expanding their business or just enjoying personal time. But whether it's a consumption tax or another way to lessen the IRS's influence, it's clear that it's time to rethink the U.S. tax system, okay? So now, in my opinion, the only reason why the U.S. tax system needs to be rethought is because the U.S. tax system needs to be one of the contributing parties to contributing to the net positive benefit of any reparations that may be paid. So again, reparations, the only type of reparations that should be the base of all discussions are cash. However, in order to facilitate that cash, looking into tax manipulations for people who are descendants of slaves and foundational Black Americans is not something that shouldn't be off of the table. Like I said before, cash is the basis and cash should be the main focus. But anything put on the table should be fair game in addition to cash, because anything that they wanted to do harmful was done to us. So anything helpful that we think of should also be considered. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you guys think. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Remember, we got a goal, 10,000 subs by the end of this year. Let's get it. Make sure you smash the like button, share the video out, hit the bell icon twice if you're not subscribed, and I will catch you all on the next video. All right, peace.